Hi, this is Weekly Reflections, and I'm Nancy Joy. Well, today we're going to reflect on reflections on Paris and the heart space that opened on the planet. From last week, we talked about the 11-11-8, which was the doorway. We were moving into the higher heart vibration. And of course, then on Friday the 13th, which we're programmed to be very, very afraid of, comes along another, quote, terrorist attack in Paris. And it really is time to put this into perspective in our human hearts, because we are not the same people as we were when 9/11 happened in the United States. All the beings on the planet now are directing their attention to what happened in Paris. And the light beings are directing heart energy and love. We know how these senseless attacks feel, and to those who have lost loved ones, there really is no consolation at this time. They must go through that grief. But I personally feel these attacks are coming at a time deliberately manifested right after this powerful gateway to come on a day to make us even more afraid and to beat the drums that we must fight these evil ones, the evildoers, whatever you're going to call them, and, begin another war, which, of course, the majority of people on Earth know that gets you nowhere. It never works. It never brings people anything but sadness and grief and death. And so my yoga teacher, Krista, had a great quote on her Facebook page on Friday or Saturday, and she said, "Imagine a world where peace is expected, normal, day-to-day mode of existence. Do not lose sight of that ever." And I think that's exactly where we are. What if our media called these terrorists confused and misguided and perhaps mentally ill people and asked us to send our prayers and our love and our heart energy to these misguided ones? This would have an entirely different result than listening to the terrorists, the ISIS. They're after us, they're infiltrating us, we aren't safe, be afraid, be very afraid. Well, whenever anyone tells you to be very afraid, it's a call to bring the fear back to love. That's what we're here to do. We are here ascending, bringing the fifth dimension into the physical. So this then in Paris is our opportunity to hold a beautiful space of love, not only for Paris, not only for the people, but also the misguided ones who perpetrate these things. And this would change everything if that's what our media and our politicians were telling us to do. In fact, all of it would stop. And it is interesting that they upped the game on this one right at a time when the human heart energy is just blooming. There's no stopping it. Everybody knows that it's blooming. And we all get caught up in wanting to retaliate. I know that's certainly the case, with our neighbors here. We want to retaliate. And there's nothing wrong with standing up and saying no more and not taking abuse. But it's not about blaming a particular group. You know what? It's never the person you're blaming or the thing you're blaming that's the cause of it. It's what's going on inside of you as the observer. So fortunately, the human heart is blooming exponentially with very expansive vibrations, and there's no stopping this flowering of the heart that's happening. So don't allow hatred to push you further into duality and separation. Use this energy to bring hatred, separation, fear, and terrorism back into your hearts, into the vibration of love. That's what the 11-11 gateway was for. Nothing could go through that gateway that wasn't vibrating to love. And so, boom, what happens? A big event happens because you cannot push through that gateway. So turn off the news now, really. Breathe into your heart space and know this space intimately. We've worked with it before. I published a great, sensational, I love it, 11-11-8 meditation just about this very thing, about taking these events and bringing them into love, and what doesn't fit in the love will not be coming along on the journey. So it's great meditation. It's on the written part below. I will put it on a note on the video so that you can enjoy it. It's 13 minutes long, and it's very, very powerful. So turn off the news, breathe into your heart space. As Ezekiel reminds us, all emotions were created to create us, to take us back to love. So feel the sadness, feel the sorrow and the grief and the frustration. But instead of allowing that to become the focus, bring it into love. Allow the focus to be the love you're creating as you're having these feelings. And then you are using that energy, that emotional energy, to expand love. So you are going to feel this deeply, and it's good and it's right that you should feel it deeply. But as you feel it deeply, you are bringing it back to love. That's what you are here for. I've published a great poem below by Oriah, Mountain Astrologer, which I'm going to read. But she says, let the ordinary things show you how to make room for the heartache and the hope. And take this day, and instead of focusing on day, an event, and it's going to go on for a while, instead of focusing on it at all, just know it's there and be in a space of love in everything you do, in everything you think. Be in a space of love. It is the best thing you can do for Paris, for the families that lost their loved ones, and for yourselves and your planet. I'm going to read you this poem right now. Here it goes. Today, may we let ordinary things show us how to make room for the heartache and hope. Baking bread, letting soup simmer all day, paying attention to the taste of sweet hot tea, letting the scent of cinnamon slow you down. Let's make love to this day. In that way, we linger and listen to each other, finding a way to be still for 3 breaths, letting our hands come to rest on the table, sitting in the center of a Debussy's Clair de Lune music, she's talking about, softening to the sadness. There is a way to be with anger, fear, and grief, a way to hold them with so much tenderness that terror cannot take root. I'm going to read that. There is a way to be with anger, fear, and grief, a way to hold them with so much tenderness that terror cannot take root. Let us make a light of that tenderness, leaning into each other, feeling each other, creating together a heart that can hold it all, which goes along with to love it all. So I'm going to leave you here today to say, whatever you're doing now, whatever you do today, consciously breathe into your heart space and catch the magic. Instead of focusing on these unfortunate acts, focus on the solution that lies within each and every one of us. Have a great week, and we'll be back again with you for Thanksgiving. Take care of who you are. Blessings.